I don't think the video went live, mate. Oh, that's
You're
a
live
good
now.
start, isn't it? We are live now. Okay.
Live,
We
pal.
won't do the countdown clock then. Never mind. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Gooner Gathering where everything goes absolutely smoothly. It's a professional broadcast as ever. And today, Goonerly Meet is joined by the poshest man in all of sports entertainment. There he is. Posh Bertie, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing very good. I've just about recovered from our World Cup exit on Saturday. More on that later. But yeah, I'm fine. I've got there. I hope you're doing well too, Mr. Meadows.
Absolutely. I've had a fun day at Tesco Towers. I've had a nice little NHS sunbed. It's been a wonderful day. What more can anyone want for it?
It's
It's a
living your
great
best
start.
life right there.
Absolutely. Oh, I did think about starting this stream by grabbing my guitar and start singing "It's Not Coming Home, It's Not Coming," but then I don't think people want to hear me sing. Not on this stream.
No, leave the memories alone. That one.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
That
Absolutely.
result.
But yeah, we are here to dissect and digest and look back at a painful exit for England's World Cup campaign, mate. And Posh is in control today, everybody. He is the man with the plan. So, Posh, it's all yours, mate. The floor is yours.
Well, obviously, on Saturday, our boys, the England team, had what I would say the biggest game the Southgate era England has had, and that includes the Euros final because France are a better team than Italy, and we had the home advantage in the Euros. Hello, Niall Kane. How are you?
It's nice to see Niall, who's formerly of our Cannon Chatter chat. So it's nice to see him there.
Well, good to see you. But yeah, I think this game against France was the biggest game the Southgate era England has had, I'd say. And it certainly felt like a final, in my opinion. It did. I know it was a quarter final, but to us, it did feel like a final because if we beat a team like France, who have been one of the best sides in the tournament, then okay, with the likes of Brazil and Portugal now out, we have got a very, very good chance of potentially bringing football home. And I mean, I can't stress it enough. This was a huge game for us.
It was a massive opportunity,
Unfortunately, the result wasn't to be. It was 2-1 to France. But, and you can agree with me on this, usually when England crash out of a tournament, we usually deserve it. But this time, actually, we didn't. I mean, we'll talk about the referee later because I'm sure there's a lot of things we'll say about that. But I thought we were the better side. The second half, definitely. We were.
Well, let's go from the very beginning. Let's go from the very beginning in terms of thinking about our starting 11 as well. Now, I jokingly asked you on our preview chat, didn't I? I said, we're talking about going attacking and everything. So which three centre-half do you think England will start with? I thought it was very brave thing to do, and absolutely the right move as well.
4-3-3.
Stuck with the 4-3-3, stuck with Kane up front, like he does with Spurs, playing as the deeper striker with Foden and Saka either side of him. I've got to say, but before I go much further, I do want to big up Luca AFC, who was kind enough to invite me over just as literally as we had a VAR decision for a penalty. He invited me over to his chat along yesterday on his stream. So anyone who's watching who doesn't know Luca, I will definitely put his details up on Gooner Gathering Twitter after this stream. So yeah, as we were saying, it was an attacking lineup with an arguable case for our midfield. I know.
Yes, I mean, Jordan Henderson. Now I know a lot of people are saying he did do well against Senegal. Yes, I know he even scored. But if it was up to me, if I was in control of the England side in terms of the midfield, it would be a 4-3-3. Rice and Bellingham as the defensive midfielders, and Foden in the middle in the sort of the attacking role in the midfield, and then on the I'll have Saka and Rashford, and then Kane up front. That's what I would have done. Jordan Henderson.
Good arguable point. Really good arguable point. Rashford had a really good tournament as well. In all fairness, you know, if you think back, I will go back when we did the Wales game, and he had a great game that day. He had the direct free kick. If you look at that side with pace as well, bombing up either side of Harry Kane, you're freeing up Foden in almost like a, you know, he dressed up with his hair like a bit like Gaza in the previous tournament, didn't he?
Full blonde in the Euros. Would have got a haircut like that if we won it.
Exactly. And you'd look really good for it as well. But yeah, you know, he would have operated just like Gaza would have done. And yeah, I think he's got the ability to do it. And that might be where we go in the future, perhaps. But I didn't have many complaints at all, really, with the starting 11. We spoke quite in depth, actually, of Walker against Mbappe, and primarily the reason why Walker, I think, was in the squad, and the reason they got him back to fitness was to try and nullify the threat of Kylian Mbappe.
He's also played against Mbappe before, Man City against PSG, and
absolutely. And you know what? I think Walker did an absolutely astonishing job. He did a great job.
He kept him quiet.
But the thing with this French side,
if you nullify one, isn't it?
If you nullify one threat, you've got threats either side. We spoke, and I'm sure we're through Olivier Giroud again in a bit, and we absolutely called it as well. We called near post runs, and we called heading ability. And
I also, if I can remember, I did say it's not just Mbappe who's a threat to the French team. They've got plenty other good players as well, Griezmann, Giroud, to name a few. And I think we mentioned Dembele, yes, and we mentioned how good they are at crossing the ball, as established during the second goal.
Yeah, absolutely
because
right.
Although it broke my heart, that was a beautiful cross. You can't lie.
Beautiful finish as well from Olivier. It was really fantastically done. It's kind of what as maybe an Arsenal fan who's notorious for being ever so positive, and I'm sorry about that, everybody. But I always loved watching Olivier Giroud doing his thing for Arsenal.
For him.
Yeah, man.
Even when he left, I don't know what it is.
I mean, the UEFA or Europa League final really did leave a sour taste in the mouth a bit, but
apart from that,
I'm very forgiving, you know. But he's the run, and he done it throughout the game. There was an early threat as well when again they had an early cross come in. Giroud got his head on it, which Pickford actually managed to get a good couple of hands on. But I mean, we spoke in depth about the threat of what they did, and it was literally threats everywhere. But the goal, the first goal from the game, came from the source that I don't think anyone expected.
Yes, Tchouaméni. I probably mispronounced that name.
You've done perfectly. Absolutely. Okay. I've been practicing that. You've done it great.
Tchouaméni. But he scored. At first, I thought it was Dembele who scored it. So if we were doing a live chat along, I would have been completely wrong live on air, which thank God for that. But it was Tchouaméni who scored it. It was from what it looks. I mean, it looked like it wasn't a strong shot. I think maybe. I mean, Ramsdale would have saved it. I'm just saying.
Well, we're going to say that, aren't we, Matt? I'm not going to be critical on Pickford here.
No, I think.
I think he might have been a bit unsighted.
Yeah, I from the angle, it looked like it was probably it was one of those shots where a lot of defenders were near him, and it's just one of those shots where you think, oh, it's just going to go wide, but it didn't. It went in the back of the net, and that was a huge wake up call for us. I think we probably should have done a bit better there.
Definitely, but on the opposite side, it's something we haven't actually seen an awful lot of in this World Cup tournament. Is long range goals like that, and he might. I think he caught everybody cold. It was a heck of a shot that came in. So my eyes just got distracted by Fabrizio Romero there. We'll go through that in a second.
The Sean Ross Upper football. What's he saying?
We'll get to it in the second half. Let me just write that down. But yeah, so the long range strike. I don't think he could have seen it. He said it wasn't the most powerful. I don't know if about the most powerful, but it had the direction on it, and we'll give him credit. And you know, it was a heck of a start. France actually started very brightly in general. Even before that, there were a few warning signs that this might be a very difficult night. They were always going
to be a threat, weren't they? It was not going to be an easy game.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, I said very much tongue in cheek, didn't I? That small matter of France.
Yeah. So, but I mean, France, only the best side in one of the best sides in the tournament. What? But hey, it's England.
Dare I say it? The reigning, defending champions.
Who broke the World Cup curse this time.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Past 3 World Cup winners eliminated the group stage of the tournament after. France broke it.
Absolutely.
And they could very well defend their title.
They've got a heck of a chance to do that as well, haven't they? Especially the way that the draw's now divided. I mean, we spoke a bit ago about missed opportunities, didn't we? When you got the likes of Brazil going out, when you got the likes of Portugal going out as well.
Yes, it was there.
It was there, but it was.
I will say though, with Morocco, who of course knocked out Spain and Portugal, of course, a monumental achievement. I watched the game, their game against Spain and Portugal, and I would say if England did go through and face them, I'd be very cautious about facing Morocco because the games I've seen, they look impossible to break down.
Yeah,
one mistake you make, they will take advantage of it. They're not to be messed around, and the only goal they've conceded was an own goal. So no one has scored a proper goal against them, and they're so difficult to break down. So it'll actually be quite a difficult job for France. They're going to have to get their crosses in, I reckon.
I think you're absolutely right, mate. I think they're going to have a very difficult game. I think that's tomorrow, isn't it?
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll keep our mince pies open on that one. Yeah, keeping the Christmas feel on it. But it was So Morocco. Definitely no mugs. They're definitely going to be a good opponent for France. Shall we bring it back?
Yeah.
To the England game, and maybe talk about firstly, but the first England penalty where which Saka won.
Well, we should have had a penalty in the first half, if you remember, when we were 1-0 down. I think it was it Saka who was also fouled there? I will talk about Saka later on. But it wasn't to be. But of course, the penalty in the second half was a definite penalty, no question about it. And we were awarded it. And of course, and I think the commentator said it as well, you would put your entire mortgage on Harry Kane to score a penalty for England. More on that later. But first penalty, though, steps up to Tottenham versus Tottenham, Kane versus Lloris.
Captain versus captain.
Brilliant penalty.
It was beautifully taken. I called it in the act. I put a little clip in our on our Twitter at Gooner Gathering. And it was, it was clubmate versus clubmate. He must have taken an awful lot of penalties against Hugo before, but he just looked him in the eye, deep breath, and he does what he normally does. He put it away, almost effortlessly, and we're back in the game. And
I'd argue Kane has been our best penalty taker in recent memory for England.
Do you know what? Probably in terms of a record, you probably have to go an awful long way back to get a better one. You know, even the very best in the game, Shearer, Lineker, would have missed penalties going back in time. But captain took his responsibility, took the first one, no problem at all.
Yeah, brilliant penalty.
It was, and we're back in the game 1-1 with everything to play for. But then, what happened next?
I thought we looked quite alive. I thought I was saying to my dad, I was watching it with him, old man Wanless. I was saying to my dad, he's not old, he's only 28. I said to him, I've got a feeling we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And him being, look, he's gonna kill me for saying this. Look, in his entire 58 years of living, he's watched it all. He's seen England fail at every occasion. He was quite pessimistic throughout the game. He knows what's coming. But we did well. Maguire missed a great chance. Can you imagine if Maguire
the header,
if Maguire scored the winner? Oh my word!
In all fairness to him, and I've never been his biggest fan, mate. He actually had a pretty decent tournament,
He's one of those players that, for club level, he hasn't been particularly that great. International level, he's been brilliant. Ziyech as well as another player for Chelsea. He's not exactly been the best. For Morocco, he's brilliant. So these players, club level, they haven't been that good. International level, they're like superb. Maguire is one of those players. Bellingham missed a brilliant chance as well. Lloris, fantastic save from him. Fair play to him. But of course,
what a tournament the young lad had, by the way, in general.
As
a 19-year-old guy,
and
dominating midfields. I'm like, wow.
And
this kid's special, mate.
Not that I'm going overboard, but like he's performing like Andrea Pirlo in his prime.
You ain't kidding either, are you?
Well, I mean, he can be that level. It's scary to see him do that at 19.
Do you know what? People would have laughed, right, when Birmingham City retired that 22 shirt. They knew something, didn't they? They knew that young man had all the ability, all the talent in the world. And for him to, start his top level career, I mean, I can only think of only a handful of people that have been selected for that England side to make his top level debut in a foreign league at the Bundesliga. I mean, the only other one I can really think of off the top of my head is there's two. There's Owen Hargreaves and there's Jason Sancho.
And in terms of incredibly young players as well, getting a shocking call up for England, he didn't play in the foreign league, but Theo Walcott I can think of as well. I mean, because didn't he play for Southampton? I think when he was first called up for England, and
he got his first call up, I believe.
Or did he just
signed for Arsenal.
Okay,
he was 16 years old. He hadn't even played a minute.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this would have been Eriksson.
He's a lovely geezer. Not forget he's from Sweden.
Absolutely. And he took a punt on him. I don't know if it was. We're diverting off a subject, but it's probably a direct replacement for Owen. That had Owen's hamstring gone or went, which would have been a doubt. But we're rather off subject there, mate.
No, we can't avoid what's coming any longer. Suddenly, Giroud had a good chance. Pickford made a brilliant save, but just a few seconds after that, beautiful cross from Griezmann. It's not being said. France so good at crossing the ball, and of all players to score, it's the former Arsenal striker. I believe a late great fellow said he was a £10 million lamppost up front. And Olivier Giroud breaks English hearts and scores the goal. And it was a very nice header as well.
It was. It's that. I mean, I've spoken about it numerous of times, haven't I? Physical threat, always making them well-timed runs. I'd never thought he got the credit he deserved back when he was wearing our colours. But yeah, he might not have had the pace, but he was intelligent with his runs. And for this goal, that cross came in. He couldn't have met it any better. He headed it nice and sweet. I don't think Pickford would have seen it until it was behind him.
No.
So,
with people, people need to coin a phrase, to steal a phrase here. They need to put a bit of respect on Giroud's name, because he is very much an underrated striker. And we talk about Jude Bellingham being only 19. Let's go the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Giroud 36. And, he's not. And again, he's like a fine wine, is old Giroud.
Oh, that's a nice.
Looks like one as well. Woo. Very handsome.
I would, sir. Oh, yeah. But no, in all seriousness, no. Olivier was, he's made a career of it now. He's 35, 36 now. Top level AC Milan now. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. He'd scored an absolute. I haven't got the figures in front of me, but he scored an absolute bucket load of goals for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And
he's overtaken Thierry Henry's amount of goals scored for France. So he's France's all-time top scorer.
Absolutely, he certainly is. I mean, I think he achieved that in the previous game, didn't he?
Yeah.
But it's what Giroud does. He's been extraordinary in the time that I've seen him. He's always been capable of scoring a goal. And you talk about breaking records. Of course, Harry Kane had the chance to break the English goal scoring record in the World Cup.
Very nice segue. We were awarded, after a long while of the ever so definitely not controversial at all referee. I think Mason Mount was fouled in the box. I think that penalty was more blatant than the first one. I mean, It was a clear penalty. You didn't need to look at VAR for that. That was.
I don't know why we didn't give it first time. Honestly.
I know, but there
was a heck of a lot of decisions.
I
think even in the build-up, actually, for Olivier's goal, I'm pretty sure there was a foul down the other end on Saka. Then the ball went down on the counter attack, which led to their goal. But
eventually we were awarded a penalty, and as I said, you could put your entire mortgage on Harry Kane scoring a penalty. He went the same way last time, and suddenly he became a rugby player, and he sent it right into Rose Ed.
He certainly did, didn't he? He would have scored 3 points in rugby. And
if you look through a telescope up in the sky, you might see his penalty come landing down again.
We can laugh and joke about it, I guess, now. Maybe a little bit.
Now, of all times, for Harry Kane to channel his inner Tottenham Hotspur, he does it now.
I know, mate. I know. It's a real shame. But he can put his name in good company now, can't he? He can join the likes of Chris Waddle and Beckham and all the greats. David Batty, yes, Gareth Southgate himself.
Oh yes, Harry Kane in a Pizza Hut advert very soon.
Honestly, no worries.
I am being very harsh here, because Kane is a phenomenal striker.
As much as we don't like to say it,
honestly, you can't avoid it. He is a fantastic striker for England, and yes, and for Tottenham. I'm not you can't deny that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, a lot of times for England when he scored, I have shouted, "That's gotta be Kane!"
Of course.
So
Anyone who knows us knows that reference. The big red machine himself.
It wasn't to be Kane in that penalty. And it's a shame because at least 9 out of 10 times Harry Kane would score a great penalty. This was the
Does
one.
it often enough for his club, doesn't he, as well?
Yeah.
Does it often enough against us lot?
This was the 1 in 10, sadly. But it just, you look back on it and think, what if it went in? What do you think the outcome would have been? And Miss Melina
has just landed
in the chat.
It's so lovely to see you, Melina. Welcome in. Hello. So there she is. She was phenomenal when we had her as a guest last week, mate. I really enjoyed chatting with her. So,
Melina, if she'd like to come back at some point, that's in your court, Lee.
Oh, mate, absolutely, 100%. Maybe I might be giving Melina a DM later in the week.
All right. But yeah, as I was saying, with Harry Kane, what do you think the outcome would have been if Harry Kane scored the penalty? Do you think France would have got one in the last few seconds? Or
it's all hearsay, isn't it? It's all hearsay. Momentum is a big thing in football. England would have gone with their tails up.
Yeah,
I'd always back us to go and sneak a winner somewhere, I guess.
I think if Harry Kane did score that second penalty, I think it would have gone to extra time and then it would have gone to a penalty shootout.
It could have done. Can you imagine him going to take a third?
Obviously, as we've seen with the Brazil game and the Spain-Morocco, penalty shootouts can be a complete lottery. You can't predict them.
Completely. You might as well try a new trend where everyone's got blindfolds on, because it's
like Bird Box.
Absolutely, why not? But
considering the amount of new rules that's being added in the next World Cup, I wouldn't be surprised if blindfolded penalties become a thing.
We'll look forward to seeing it, and maybe sort of downing a few pints of lager beforehand, going around a couple of times in circles, then trying.
Oh my god! I think that happens every night in Gravesend. I think, and
we'll bring you coverage of that live.
A posh man in Gravesend, honestly.
I wouldn't be anywhere near there. What?
No. But sadly, Kane, of course, missed a penalty, so we can't predict what would happen, and we have to go with the situation now. Rashford's free kick. It was unlucky. We could have had a Netherlands moment against Argentina.
Oh, so close as well. He couldn't have come any closer, could he? He hit the ball well enough. Of course, we remember we did our watch along, and he scored against Wales, doing exactly that thing.
Yeah,
he couldn't have come much closer. So, what can you say? They tried everything.
Honestly, usually I do have, after watching Arsenal for a good number of years, I have built some nerves when it comes to football and potential disappointing moments. I couldn't watch the free kick, but it was until then I heard my dad go, "Oh, for naughty word sake,
for goodness sake."
Yeah, and that's when I knew, all right, it's not to be.
It was game over, mate. It was game over, and sadly, a very, very talented English side. It's got so much potential in it. Look at it. We've spoken about Bellingham, Foden, Starboy, Saka.
Come the next World Cup, these lot are going to be at the prime of their careers.
Bellingham's only going to get better and better. Yeah. He's already a dominating midfield player. Can you imagine a bit more experience under that young man?
Yeah,
goodness gracious! And what an interesting time he's going to have now. In terms of, there's a lot of talk. I don't know exactly why there's talk of a bidding war. I don't know why they'd want to sell him. But if he's available for a transfer, I don't know if it's a contract situation or whatever it is. But
I just hope if he does go to a Premier League club, he's not ruined like United did with Sancho. Because you do see a lot of these players when they go to Premier League clubs, they don't live up to expectations.
Yeah, a lot of big promise, isn't there? Big price tag. Yeah, but I mean, there's an awful lot of talk about him going Liverpool, isn't there? And I would imagine, if you think about the long term, that's a potential replacement for Jordan Henderson, isn't it? And he'll do phenomenal there.
I mean,
absolutely no doubt about that.
Replacement for Granit Xhaka, maybe.
I was going to say, I would rather like to see him in Arsenal red colours if we could. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Look, don't want to get too optimistic on transfer windows and anything, do we?
No. And as Arsenal fans, we should definitely know that.
If we go back to last January, mate, how well did that
David
go?
Luiz? Oh, it's...
No, it's on special.
No.
You can buy one, you can get some wigs free.
Buy one, you get one free.
You know the one. So, yes, I think that will wrap us up in terms of in terms of England, in terms of an extremely talented side that it was a wasted opportunity. It's a shame, but I went into the tournament without an awful lot of expectation, to be honest.
With our recent form in the Nations League, I was
precisely that.
I was cautious about it.
Yeah.
Because we were in a group that, let's be honest, that was a group where we should have got 9 points from 3 games from. Obviously,
with no disrespect to anybody,
US, it was a bad result against the US. But Iran and Wales, the second half against Wales, I thought we performed very well, and against Senegal as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Senegal was by far our best performance, and it'll be interesting to see what direction we're going from now. And I'm talking about Gareth himself. He's been in the job an awful long time. I knew you were. So this is how this works.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, we know each other so well.
So Gareth Southgate, in or out?
I wouldn't be surprised to see Gareth wanting to take a back seat from it now.
Yeah, he was always, after the Euros, I think he said something about not wanting to outstay his welcome after the World Cup.
Yeah.
But the next few days will be interesting, but he's dropped a lot of hints. He's been very cryptic, if you will, about his future as England manager. But look, I've been critical of Gareth Southgate a lot with some of his team selections. I was critical during the France game when he took Saka off, when he was winning all the fouls for us, and the French players couldn't get anywhere near him, and he took him off and brought on Sterling.
Didn't he? Yeah.
But what say you? Because it's difficult.
It is difficult because you gotta have a little think about. Okay, so if Gareth either decides to leave or he gets sacked, say, so what route do you go down now?
Yeah,
who is available?
Because at the top of my head, we'll say Thomas Tuchel or Pochettino, but I think that's
exactly what Lucas said.
Choice.
It's exactly what Lucas said yesterday. We said about Thomas Tuchel. He said, I don't know if there's an English manager out there. Certainly,
possibly Eddie Howe. But I think
maybe Eddie Howe. Well, I've got a lot of time for Eddie Howe. He's doing an incredible job over of Newcastle. Bear in mind where they were last season. Yeah, there's a lot going on in St James's Park right now. I mean, with the takeover, it's a very exciting time for them. Look how good they were just before the World Cup break. The game against Chelsea. I mean, they managed to boss that game and come out 1-0. I don't see Eddie Howe. He's one that really will stick a project. Look at his time at Bournemouth. He was there a long time, man. And yeah, Eddie's definitely a candidate for potentially down the line somewhere, maybe.
I think if Graham Potter didn't leave Brighton, he would have been a strong candidate for the job.
Yeah, but I mean, in fair, his time at Chelsea's not been wonderful, is it? Really? I mean, it's.
No. But I mean, that's how.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge Potter this early because the very reason he is in that position is because Thomas Tuchel was struggling with that lineup. So I don't know. It's a really tough one to call.
I reckon Thomas Tuchel will end up becoming the Germany manager. I reckon. I think he's heavily linked with that job.
Yeah.
I don't know if their manager's gone. I don't know, but
I think you might be right.
I think I mean, I'd either go with Tuchel or Pochettino. But
Pochettino's an interesting one. I mean,
I wanted him at Arsenal when Emery left. Controversial choice, I know.
Yeah, but would have certainly caused a debate, wouldn't it? But look, you can't deny Pochettino's plus points. Is he's done pretty good over there. And
I know we you might not like us praising that lot down the road, but look at how he transformed Tottenham from being like 5th or 6th place to finishing second and third, title contenders.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And a lot of Spurs fans I know. Yeah, I do speak to some of them occasionally. Great, graced me with their presence and everything. But he did a decent job over there, and a lot of them would probably still want him there now. So yeah, I can't speak too highly of Pochettino. To be fair, I think that's a grand choice.
Yeah, but we don't know if Southgate's going to stay or not. But for the Euros next year, I think we're the heavy favorite, one of the heavy favorites to win.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you've got to think. You've got to think we're going to have a chance. I mean, it'll be interesting to see the evolution of this side now. I mean, there'll be players which we might have already spoken about in this team that might be a little bit doubtful coming forward.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really difficult to predict in a couple of years' time, isn't it? Was it 2024?
2024 is the Euros, yeah. I mean, who knows what may happen? It'll be an interesting evolution, but as always, evolution is a mystery. I think we'll move on from England at the moment. You read something about Gabriel Jesus and his injury.
I did. I can't credit it for me. Because hey, I'm just a guy who can operate a camera and look on Twitter and stuff. But it does suggest rather a source, yeah, absolutely. We're saying about Jesus is obviously we know he left the Brazil camp early. It looked like a serious sort of situation with a knee. We all know he's already had the surgery on it, but it does suggest that it's not as bad. He seems to be recovering well, which is wonderful news for us.
Encouraging.
I mean, we're going to open up the debate, I guess. Here are we about the Jesus situation, and so we know he's going to be missing for the restart. We know, certainly for the first couple of games when we start again. If my focus is totally on West Ham right now. Honestly, I can't think much further ahead of that. But we know that sort of the transfer window will operate. Back in action in January. There's going to be a lot of names thrown around. People saying, "Oh, do we go and spend some money now in January in the transfer window?" It's a very different transfer window this year, I feel, than it was 12 months ago. If you look at look at our previous skipper's situation and him going against all sorts of disciplinary codes in the club, to him sort of forcing the club into a really bad situation, really. Where we pretty much had no choice but to let him leave to Barca on a free.
Yeah.
And that's literally where the club's focus was, because there would have been the wages situation there as well. There would have been all sorts of issues which would have stopped other things coming in. And ultimately, the fact that we were short on firepower probably did cost us a little bit at the end of it to finish in. We finished in that 5th place, which, we're in a little bit of a different situation now. We know we come back to club football with a 5-point gap on Man City.
Yeah.
You got to hope we get backed. And you wonder, I'm hearing it's a bit of talk on there. You know much about the lad Felix?
João Felix, the Portuguese striker, yes. Man United are heavily linked with him.
I mean, I believe his name was brought up last January as well, because I remember thinking, I don't know an awful lot about this guy, and I literally had to improvise myself out of a live stream on a certain other live saying I really liked his cat food.
Hey, so
that's what
he plays for Atletico Madrid. He's done okay for Portugal. He's heavily linked with Man United. I think he'd be a good striker. I think if Jesus is going to be out for a long while, I think we do need, with all due respect to Eddie Nketiah, I do think we need a striker for this.
We're going to need a couple, aren't we? I mean, we'll need Eddie to do his thing. And,
huge amount of pressure.
And anyone who watches me, I'm not going to divert from my my love of Eddie Nketiah, and I'm not going to. They didn't offer him the new contract for ha-has. They didn't offer him the upgrade of a squad number for a laugh. That there wasn't. I don't think it was for merchandising sales. I don't think it was for that.
Are you just looking at things that I have previously said in the summer, and they're going, you said no, you didn't say.
Yeah. But, look. I think, and let's be fair. When Eddie has been given a chance, and I mean, like, from the start, getting some decent game time. We saw it at the back end of last season. We see it sparingly. I admit, sparingly, in the things like the Europa League, and whenever he's given a chance to start, whenever he's given a chance to shine, was given a chance to shine the other night against Lyon. And do you know what? Got his head on the cross, didn't he? Scored, didn't he?
I hope it can continue. I'll be honest, I've not paid much attention in the friendly cup that they're doing, but I'm glad you're keeping up to date with it. I'm glad that Nketiah has scored.
So Eddie scored. I mean, well, if you want to talk about Eddie's goal first, if you like, just brief. So we beat Lyon the other day, 3-0 in the Dubai Cup. So 8 million miles away from where the World Cup's been played, to be fair. We're talking about Nketiah. So we got Kieran Tierney got a cross in, and Eddie got his head on it. I won't spend too much time on this, because it's almost like a pre-season friendly in the middle of December. Probably an important note to make on Gabriel, the centre half, continuing his scoring rate from set plays.
Excellent.
Odegaard had a corner. Gabriel put his head on it to make it 1-0 really early.
So we've got some score. We've got some scorers that don't play as striker, and with Martinelli and Saka, they're not injured after they've been knocked out the World Cup. Hopefully, they can be fine for the West Ham game. Fingers crossed, they're not too tired.
My understanding with Saka and Ramsdale is they're going to be back with the Arsenal squad by the end of the week. Now, whether it be in Dubai or whether it'll be back in London.
Probably back in London.
I would think probably back in London, getting in preparation for the Juventus game, which is at the Emirates, if you didn't know, before we start up again on Boxing Day. So it'd be a high profile, decent competition, decent ranking side as well. So it should be interesting. I think it's probably a good idea. Oh, I haven't mentioned the third goal yet, have I? And if you haven't seen it, it's almost a really, really good replica of that Jack Wilshere goal against Norwich, where
that pass.
Oh, and then,
I love that goal.
Ball came back out to Vieira, much like he did against Brentford. We spoke about it live on air, and it just absolutely hit one from nowhere, and it just ended up in the top corner. This kid's got a lot of talent, by the way, Hugo Vieira. Let's keep an eye on him. I want to bring up again Emil Smith Rowe as well at the training camp in Dubai. I don't know if he'll play tomorrow against Milan.
Okay,
we shall see.
I think it's best if we rest him until the Premier League begins. We don't want to risk anything.
It depends where he's at, isn't it? I mean, in terms of it'll be.
Although sometimes it's good to have him get used to playing time again in friendlies. So
I would like to see him get some minutes, whether it be now, like tomorrow, or at the Emirates against Juve. I don't know if they're going to have anything planned before the 26th, but I'd like to see him play a little bit just to get back in the swing of it and bring him back gently, because we're going to need it. I mean, look, we know how good Smith Rowe was for last season. Look at his goal assist record. Look at his goal scoring record. I think he ended up joint top goal scorer last season as well. So look, we know the kid's good. I think this is his first real major injury that he's had. So look, hopefully he'll be good, back to go, and we'll, to coin a phrase, it'll be like a new signing, but it is kind of, because we hadn't seen him since September.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a hopeful situation. With you take, Jesus out of the side, but maybe sort of Smith Rowe somewhere in the squad there, kind of almost balances it out. I know not directly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, not up front, obviously, but like
he's operated as false nine before.
Okay, but maybe he could be very much a deep lying forward. Maybe it's an option. But like I say, it would be just nice to have him amongst the squad, particularly with, we've got 3 competitions we're still in, right? We've still got FA Cup, we've still got Europa League, and of course, this elusive Premier League trophy, which I haven't seen lifted since 1990. I've not seen lifted from us. No. Obviously, I was alive, but I was too young to.
You were just about alive, weren't you, I suppose?
I was 4, so
it seems an awful long time ago from me. But there you go. Who knows? It's a promising time. It's an exciting time to be an Arsenal fan. It looks for the vast majority of it that our players are coming back fit.
Yeah.
I suppose I better finish off on this pre-season-ish kind of game against Lyon, hadn't I? Had a bit of unusual kind of rules in it as well, because we won 3-0. I think it would be very wrong of me not to mention that the game went to penalties at the end, just for the extra point. And it was probably the worst penalty shootout I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. But
I've seen the Morocco-Spain game. I think that might be a bit of a competition there.
I'll give credit to Marquinhos and Matt Smith. Matt Smith, I don't know if it's an official first-team debut for him. He's a guy who often appears in the under-21 squad. He hit a nice penalty. Marquinhos scored a nice penalty. But the hero of the night was Carl Hine, who was the goalkeeper, you recall, who was playing against Brighton in the Carabao Cup, and he had a terrible time.
Yeah.
And I said back then, you know what, his time might come. And, you know, yeah, it's a pre-season-ish kind of tournament. It's nice for him and his development to get involved with the first team. And I don't know if he's going to have the level to get up there to get a number one spot. But it's nice for him in his career to say, look, I played in this high-profile friendly, and I saved 4 penalties on the trot. Fair play to him. You don't get many goalkeepers to do that.
He's redeemed himself, but
in some sort of way.
In a way, you know, I mean, he had to do it in some capacity, didn't he?
Absolutely. So, I think I was going to say we're on to Arsenal news, and my eyes got distracted by Fabrizio Romero.
Ooh.
Up above my StreamYard screen, I had a little tweet come through, and they were talking about Balogun, as you know, will be over in the French league. What club is he at? I can't remember straight off the top of my head, but we know he's on loan up in France, isn't he, at the moment? And apparently there is no plans for him to be called back to the Arsenal squad in terms of like recalling him from the loan. So they're going to let him finish off the season over there in France. So would that suggest there may be plans already potentially in place to bring in another forward, either short or longer term?
Yeah, I mean, Balogun, I think this might be famous last words here. He isn't exactly a major loss for us. Let's be honest. I say this, he'll play for another club next season and score like 48 goals in 5 games or something. But like, he's not been all that. He came on as a sub, I believe, against Brentford. We were losing 2-0. He wasn't all that.
I won't be overcritical of anyone in that
famous
game.
last words. It's not a major loss for us.
But and you're right in a way, because you know he went over to Middlesbrough as well, and he didn't have a great time over there. But I know he has been scoring goals in the French league. So as we were talking about it, I thought it was kind of relevant.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, mate, we have just about covered everything that I wanted to cover this evening. We've got the game against AC Milan tomorrow. I am going to have my hands full tomorrow with Daddy Daycare duty, but keep your eye on Arsenal.com for how we're getting on. Keep your eyes on our channel pages. There's 2 things I want to bring up. Your Gooner Gathering on Twitter is up and running. We've also just made a Discord server, so we'll probably put bits and pieces in there. It's a nice place for any of our subscribers or anyone just to come in, put a little comment in. You know, we'll expand it because literally I've only just set it up. Good work, Posh. Well done, mate. I'm teaching the boy, you know, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel guilty doing this.
Yeah, mate, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right in doing it. Shilling, that's what it's called. Shilling the socials. So, we'll use this Discord server to however people want to use it. You know, you'll be absolutely free to promote your own stuff. We'll try and support anybody who goes on as and when. Like I said, I gave Luca a hand the other day. You never know. Hopefully, we'll see Miss Melina soon. Hopefully, we'll see Fran soon as well, because she was sensational when we had her on as well. And support Fran's shop.
Who may appear? It's almost like a forbidden door.
Forbidden door. It's almost like we're on the same wavelengths, mate.
Oh.
But But yeah, with all that being said, and with all that nonsense coming into the stream, I think now's probably a good time to say goodnight to everybody. So, Posh, would you like to tell everybody where they could find you on your Twitters? There he is.
You can see here, my Twitter is at Posh Bertie. My Instagram is at Bertie Wanless. That's about it.
So you can find me at Goonerly Meads. You can find us here at Gooner Gathering over on Twitter. Find our Discord server. We'll put that on our Twitter again soon. And with all that being said, thank you very much for everyone that's been here. If you've enjoyed our stream, make sure you give it a like, share it around, and tell all your friends and get everybody to subscribe. We've had an amazing sort of, well, basically 2 months now, haven't we, mate? And it's been really good. It's been a journey.
You've been on this journey longer than I have. I got in the back seat in, I believe, April for Arsenal against West Ham, and I've enjoyed it since.
Good. Well, mate, I'm very, very pleased to have you on board. We'll say good night to everybody, and we'll definitely speak to you soon. Keep an eye on our socials. We'll have stuff dropping very soon. Take care, everybody, and good night.